Chosen one. Stop scrolling. Heaven paused the noise around you for this moment. You have not missed anything. You have not fallen behind. You are not too late. You are exactly where heaven intended you to be. The reason the doors didn't open when you expected them to was not because you were forgotten, but because time itself bowed before your divine assignment. And now, as the heavens align and the earth stills, your appointed hour begins to unfold, every breath, every heartbeat echoing the truth that destiny does not rush. It arrives with divine precision. Listen closely. Every delay you cursed was secretly a delay of protection. Every detour you resented was the hand of God steering you around invisible dangers. You have been walking on holy ground, disguised as stillness. You thought you were waiting on God, but God was aligning everything to meet you at the appointed hour. You see, divine timing does not move by seconds and minutes. It moves by readiness. Heaven's calendar is not marked by days, but by transformation. You weren't waiting for time to catch up. Time was waiting for you to mature into the vessel, strong enough to carry the anointing attached to your name. So now, chosen one, breathe. You are standing in the unfolding of prophecy. What you thought was a pause was preparation. What looked like silence was strategy. Heaven hid you, not to punish you, but to protect the oil that rests on you. There are people who thought you disappeared, but you were being concealed for refinement, not rejection. You must understand something sacred. When God marks a person for divine impact, He slows them down on purpose, because fast growth often collapses under weak roots. But divine delay produce unshakable foundations. You were not late, you were planted. The world around you moved fast. Others seemed to arrive before you, succeed before you, be celebrated before you, but you were never called to race them. Your destiny is not a competition, it is a covenant. Heaven does not measure success by speed, but by surrender. The waiting you endured was not wasted. Every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer, every season of obscurity, it all built the endurance required to stand in the light without losing your soul. Some people are promoted by popularity, but you will be elevated by purpose. Chosen one, you are being reintroduced, not as who you were, but as who heaven always knew you would become. You are about to see why it all took so long. You will look back and whisper, "Now I understand. The delay was the delivery room of destiny." Your tears watered the soil where your next season will bloom. Do not despise the process that protected your promise. The same God who allowed the pause is the one who will now release the acceleration. Heaven has declared that your timing is now. Lift your eyes, for the dawn has broken. The wait is over, not because time passed, but because you have arrived. You are the moment that creation has been waiting for. Everything that felt late was perfectly synchronized with divine precision. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 27, verse 14. Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord. Now, beloved, if this word speaks to your spirit, do not let it pass like any other message. This is your divine confirmation that you are in alignment with heaven's clock. Take a moment to like this message. Share it with someone who needs to be reminded that their timing is sacred. And subscribe so that the word continues to reach those awakening to their purpose. Before you move on, pause and feel this truth settle deep in your soul. Heaven's timing never arrives early or late. It always arrives, transformed. You didn't miss your moment. You became the moment. Every time you thought you were being left behind, grace was circling back to meet you. This message found you now because this is the moment the spiritual fog clears and clarity steps in. You are not behind schedule. You are precisely on divine schedule. Comment 777 below as a prophetic declaration that you receive this alignment and that you are ready to walk boldly into your appointed hour. Heaven waited for you. Chosen one. And now the world will see why. Chosen one. You have walked through seasons where silence screamed louder than words, where prayers seemed to hit the ceiling and fall back into your trembling hands. You wondered if heaven had gone quiet, or if perhaps you had been forgotten altogether. Yet those silent stretches, those hidden years where no one noticed your growth, were never wasted. They were the sacred classrooms of heaven. Every hidden season has a purpose. Hot often develops his strongest warriors in obscurity, shaping hearts before showcasing crowns. When you felt unseen, you were actually being safeguarded. Heaven was teaching you to hear the whisper behind the thunder, to sense divine movement even when it seemed still. That is the essence of true faith, to trust the unseen hand that writes your destiny in invisible ink. You see, before every revelation comes preparation. Before every public victory comes private surrender. The world sees elevation, but heaven measures endurance. When you endured disappointment, when you refused to quit, when you kept praying through nights of silence, you were passing divine tests unseen by human eyes. Heaven never wastes obedience. Think about it. Seeds are buried before they break forth. Their hiddenness is not death, but development. Likewise, your quiet seasons were not the end. They were incubation. While others ran ahead chasing recognition, heaven was anchoring you in wisdom, depth, and spiritual resilience. You were being refined in stillness so that your next movement would carry power. The lessons you learned in the waiting, the discipline of prayer, the humility of surrender, the resilience of patience are treasures that cannot be taught in the spotlight. The pain you endured carved depth into your spirit. Every unanswered question, every why that lingered in your soul, every delay that seemed cruel, all of it was chiseling away your dependence on earthly validation, teaching you to rely on divine voice alone. Chosen one. You didn't lose time in the waiting. You gained roots. Heaven was training your spirit to recognize divine timing so that when your moment arrived, you would not mistake opportunity for calling. This is why others may have advanced faster but faded sooner. You, however, were built slowly so you could last eternally. The Father saw how you kept showing up when nothing changed. He saw your tears when no one else noticed. He watched your faith remain steady when your strength wavered. He was not silent out of absence. He was silent out of strategy. Sometimes, the greatest growth happens when heaven seems quiet. For in the quiet, you learn to move by conviction rather than confirmation. Remember this: no prophet, no apostle, no chosen vessel ever skipped the hidden years. Even David was anointed long before he wore a crown. Even Joseph dreamed before the palace, but suffered long before the throne. The hidden season is not punishment, it is prophecy in progress. The enemy wanted you to despise that hiddenness, to equate delay with denial. But heaven was smiling, knowing that hiddenness was building weight into your spirit. You were learning to stand without applause, to serve without recognition, to believe without proof. These are the traits of the truly chosen. And now, look at you. The quiet has given you clarity. The waiting has made you wise. You no longer chase timing. You flow with divine rhythm. You no longer panic when heaven pauses. You know pauses precede promotion. Every wilderness season was a workshop where your faith was sharpened like a blade forged in sacred fire. There were days you wanted to give up, yet something holy within you kept whispering, "Hold on." That whisper was the Spirit of God, reminding you that endurance is not weakness, it is worship. Every time you stayed faithful, you proved to heaven that you were trustworthy with more. You are stepping out of obscurity now, but carry with you the sacred lessons of hiddenness. Do not despise the days of preparation, for they are the foundation of your eternal purpose. What was concealed will soon be revealed, but it will not be revealed through noise. It will be revealed through authority, peace, and quiet confidence that comes only from being trained by time. You were not late. You were learning the language of divine timing. The silence you endured taught you to listen differently. And now, when heaven whispers, you understand every syllable. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 2. Remember how the Lord, your God, led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years, to humble and test you in order to know what was in your heart. This is the truth of your journey. Your wilderness was your workshop. Your hiddenness was your making. Heaven knew that only someone who had been refined in silence could carry the sound of glory without pride. And so, chosen one, lift your head high. Every moment of waiting was woven with divine intention. You are walking out of preparation and into purpose. Not by accident, but by assignment. You are right on time. Chosen one. Do you remember the wilderness? The endless stretch of uncertainty where you felt stripped of comfort, stripped of control, stripped of everything you thought defined you. That was not abandonment. It was the divine workshop. It was there that heaven crafted the version of you that could handle the weight of destiny. You didn't realize it then. But the wilderness was never empty. It was filled with holy instruction. Every tear that fell in that season was a lesson written in liquid prayer. The desert was not designed to destroy you, but to detox you. It pulled away every false layer that clung to your identity: pride, doubt, fear, dependence on man. Heaven had to break what was artificial in order to reveal what was eternal. In that isolation, heaven's voice became clearer. You began to sense divine direction, not through noise, but through knowing. The wilderness trained your spirit to distinguish between the echo of emotion and the whisper of God. You learned to walk not by sight, but by revelation. That is the essence of a chosen one. You don't move because life pushes you. You move because heaven speaks. You must understand that every chosen vessel experiences wilderness. Moses had his 40 years in Midian. Elijah had his brook and ravens. Jesus himself fasted in the desert before his ministry began. The wilderness is the refining fire of every divine calling. It strips away comfort so that only conviction remains. At first, you cried, "Why me?" But later, you began to see the pattern. Every rejection, every door that closed, every plan that failed, it was all heaven's choreography. The wilderness trained you to find beauty in barrenness, strength in solitude, and purpose in pain. That's when transformation happened. It was in the wilderness that your discernment was sharpened. You stopped seeking applause and started seeking alignment. You began to understand that silence is not God's absence, it is His classroom. You stopped chasing timelines and started trusting timing. That is where the shift took place, when you realized that your survival wasn't luck. It was prophecy. The world calls it a setback, but heaven calls it sanctification. When everything familiar was stripped away, you discovered that what you had lost externally, you gained internally: clarity, peace, power. The desert turned you into a weapon, forged by surrender. Chosen one. Look at you now. You carry authority not because you've been celebrated, but because you've been crushed and yet endured. Every scar you wear is sacred. It testifies of the days you stood alone but were not abandoned. Every moment of dryness was an invitation to drink from the river within. And now, when others panic in their own wilderness, you carry the blueprint. You can tell them, I've been there. I survived what was meant to silence me. Because of that, your voice carries weight in the spirit. The wilderness taught you to speak not from theory, but from testimony. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 17, verse 7. But blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in Him. Oh, trust was the key you forged in that season, the key that unlocked peace in the middle of confusion. While others saw the wilderness as isolation, you discovered it was incubation. Heaven was growing something within you that could not bloom in comfort. And so, as you step forward now, do not despise your deserts. Remember what they built within you. When the next storm rises, smile. You've been trained in survival. The wilderness no longer terrifies you because you've learned that where there is no comfort, there is deeper communion. Now, I want you to pause and declare your awareness of this truth. Comment, still standing below, not as a casual phrase, but as a prophetic act. When you type those two words, you are announcing to heaven and to hell alike that despite the heat of the desert, despite the pressure and pain, you remain unbroken. You are still here, still chosen, still aligned. Because the wilderness did not weaken you, it revealed the power that was already within. It showed you that your faith is not fragile, your calling is not conditional, and your purpose is not negotiable. The fire that tried to consume you only refined your gold. You walk differently now, not desperate, but deliberate. You move with quiet authority, carrying the fragrance of survival and the sound of destiny. So, below chosen one, never again fear the wilderness, for what once broke you now bows before you. You carry the wilderness within you, the memory of struggle turned into wisdom, the weight of waiting transformed into power. You are not a wanderer, you are a warrior shaped by divine solitude. Chosen one. There were moments when people around you looked at your journey and misjudged it. They saw your stillness and called it stagnation. They saw your delay and called it failure. But they were reading your life through human calendars, not heaven's map. They did not see the divine choreography unfolding in silence, the invisible alignment of destiny that moved according to sacred rhythm, not worldly expectation. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. The anointing that rests upon your life often offends the logic of those who rely only on what they can see. You were walking according to a divine pattern that could not be explained to those who lived by the rush of the ordinary. That is why you felt different, why you never fit the mold, why their timelines never applied to you. When others rushed ahead, you felt restrained. When they celebrated temporary victories, you were being taught eternal truths. It was never that you were behind, it was that you were moving on heaven's time. A pace, ungoverned by pressure. Every time you felt left out, you were actually being set apart. Remember how many times you compared your journey to theirs. You looked at their milestones, their applause, their recognition, and quietly wondered if God had forgotten your name. But heaven whispered, "My child, I am not slow as men count slowness." What looked like divine delay was divine design. The Lord was writing a story so specific to you that no other timeline could contain it. Every misunderstanding was part of the refining. When they laughed, when they dismissed you, when they said, "You missed your moment," heaven smiled, knowing your moment hadn't even been revealed yet. Sometimes, misunderstanding is the mark of the chosen. The prophets were misunderstood. The apostles were ridiculed. Even the Savior himself was misjudged by those who thought they knew the will of God. You walk a similar path because your purpose carries a heavenly signature, not an earthly stamp. Do not resent those who misread your pace. Their perception was never meant to define your progress. There is a grace that covers the chosen, an invisible protection that hides them until the appointed hour. You were hidden not because you were unworthy, but because you were unready to be misused. Heaven was not delaying you, it was developing you. You are learning now that divine timing offends human logic. The clock of heaven ticks differently. It is patient, deliberate, flawless. The seconds of God are centuries of transformation. When He moves, it is never too soon, never too late, always precise, always purposeful. That is why the waiting cannot be measured by the watch on your wrist, but by the wisdom gained in your spirit. Look back for a moment at those seasons when you felt invisible. You now see how every unnoticed effort, every unseen act of obedience, every quiet, yes, built the unseen architecture of your calling. They saw nothing happening, but heaven saw construction, faith rising like pillars, endurance stretching like foundations, humility shaping like walls. You were not idle, you were under divine construction. The day will come, and it is near, when the same ones who dismissed you will witness the manifestation of what God built in secret. They will realize that while they were chasing exposure, you were gaining elevation. You were not missing out. You were being molded for a glory they could not comprehend. Chosen one, let this truth anchor you. Being misunderstood is proof that you are being guided by revelation. Those who live by faith cannot always explain their path to those who live by sight. That's why some walked away when your process became uncomfortable for them to watch. They mistook your pruning for punishment, your patience for passivity. But you endured. You stayed when others quit. You believed when others mocked. And heaven took note. The world may never fully understand you, but heaven knows your name. You are not measured by applause. You are measured by obedience. And obedience, though quiet, is the loudest sound in eternity. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." That is the rhythm. You walk by the rhythm of divine certainty. What was spoken over you, will come to pass. What was delayed will be delivered. What was hidden will soon be heralded. You are not behind. You are simply unfolding. Heaven's promises do not expire. They mature. So, chosen one, release the weight of comparison. Let go of the pressure to prove yourself to those who were never meant to understand your mission. Your worth was never found in their validation, but in His voice. You have been walking on sacred timing all along. And now, the revelation begins to make sense. You were never late. You were simply arriving exactly when eternity called your name. Chosen one. You are stepping into a moment that heaven wrote long before you took your first breath. Everything that seemed delayed, denied, or disrupted now begins to align. And the rhythm of divine timing unfolds like dawn after a storm. You are beginning to see the pattern that what once appeared broken was only incomplete, and what felt late was merely waiting for the perfect hour to bloom. Think of a seed buried in darkness. To the untrained eye, it looks forgotten beneath the soil. But beneath that quiet covering, life is forming. The rain that beats upon it and the weight of the earth pressing down are not meant to crush it, but to prepare it for breaking forth. You, chosen one, have been that seed buried, not for death, but for destiny. The soil of obscurity was the cradle of your becoming. Now, heaven is whispering, rise. The shell that once protected you can no longer contain you. The timing of your emergence is precise, sacred, unrepeatable. No one can occupy the moment that was designed for you. The roots you grew in silence will sustain the branches that the world will soon see. That is the miracle of divine delay. It builds depth before display. You have reached the point where heaven's timing and your readiness intersect. The closed doors of yesterday were never denials. They were divine delays designed to mature the dream within you. Every unanswered prayer, every detour, every heartbreak was part of heaven's architecture. What was withheld was not rejection, it was preservation. Chosen one, heaven wants you to know this. When God says, now, no force in the natural or spiritual realm can stop what He has ordained. The tides of timing begin to shift. The very ground that once felt barren now starts to tremble with new growth. You will soon look around and realize that the seasons have changed, not because time moved faster, but because heaven said, it is time. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 33, but seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. You see, divine timing is not about chasing opportunities, it's about being positioned in purpose. When your heart aligns with heaven's rhythm, blessings begin to find you. You no longer chase doors. Doors begin to open toward you. What once required striving will now flow with grace. Every season of waiting has prepared you for this moment of release. Your patience has built spiritual muscle. Your faith has forged divine stamina. Heaven never intended you to arrive early, because early arrival breeds immaturity. Now that you are ready, the path clears. The winds that once opposed you begin to carry you forward. Take a moment to look at how far you've come. The valleys you walked through, the nights you thought would never end, they were all necessary chapters in this divine novel. And now the author writes again, his pen dripping with glory. Writing, now, the page turns, and a new season begins. Chosen one. When you hear this message, know that it is not coincidence, it is confirmation. The very fact that these words find you now is proof that heaven's timing is unlocking over your life. You are stepping into synchronization where what you prayed for, what you prepared for, and what heaven promised all converge. And as this truth settles in your heart, I want to speak to you sincerely, without pressure, but with purpose. If this message stirs something within you, if you feel that quiet, knowing deep in your chest, let it move you to act. Not out of obligation, but out of connection. Take a breath. Let gratitude rise. And if you feel led, share this word. Someone else is waiting in their own hidden season, thinking they are late, when in truth they are right on time. A simple share may be the spark that reminds another chosen one that heaven has not forgotten them. A like, a subscription, a moment of engagement. It isn't about numbers, it's about ripples. Every small act of faith extends the reach of this divine reminder. It says, I believe in timing that is holy. I believe in purpose that never expires. So let this be a gentle act of alignment. When you share light, heaven multiplies it. When you lift others, you rise with them. You become a messenger, a carrier of divine encouragement, a reminder that no delay is wasted in the hands of God. The season has turned. Chosen one. The waiting has matured into walking. The silence has become sound. You are no longer in preparation, you are in release. The time that once held you back now bows before you. You have arrived, not by haste, but by holiness. Chosen one. Do you remember the doors that closed in your face? The opportunities that slipped through your hands? The plans that crumbled just as you thought you were ready? You cried. You questioned. You wondered if God had forgotten his promise. But heaven whispers to you now, those doors did not close to punish you. They closed to protect you. There were places you were never meant to enter, even if they looked promising. There were connections you desired that would have drained your anointing. There were rooms you thought were yours. But heaven saw the traps hidden beneath the gold. You mistook rejection for failure. But in truth, it was redirection. Every no you heard was heaven saying, not that way, not yet, not with them. Chosen one. When you cried over lost chances, angles wäre standing guard, blocking paths that would have broken you. You thought the silence was cruel, but it was the sound of heaven constructing a door designed specifically for your fingerprint. You see, divine doors don't swing open by human favor, they respond to readiness. In this sacred season, heaven is revealing the truth. You were never meant to chase open doors. The doors meant for you will recognize your spirit before you even knock. They will open because of divine alignment, not human approval. Every delay was building that alignment. Every heartbreak was removing counterfeit paths. Imagine a key being shaped in fire. Every hammer strike, every spark, every heat of waiting was forming your key. You couldn't open those doors earlier because the key wasn't finished yet. But now, after the molding, after the tears, after the surrender, the key fits perfectly. The doors that once refused to move will now swing wide with ease, because now you have changed. When heaven builds something, it lasts. When God opens a door, no hand can close it. You will walk into spaces that others were never able to sustain because they entered by ambition, not by appointment. You, however, will enter by anointing. Think back to all the times you asked, Why did this end? Or why didn't that work out? The answer was always timing and purpose. The job that slipped away, the friendship that faded, the dream that didn't manifest, they were all pieces of divine orchestration. You were being protected from premature exposure. Heaven refused to let you arrive where your character wasn't yet ready to remain. As the apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 9, "No eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no human mind has conceived the things God has prepared for those who love him." And those words are not just comfort, they are confirmation. What you lost was not the end. It was the clearing of space for what heaven had already prepared. You were never meant to settle for the imitation when the authentic was being designed. The closed door was not your enemy. It was your escort, guiding you toward what was yours all along. Chosen one. The Lord did not let those doors open because he knew what you could not see. He heard conversations you never heard. He saw motives you never discerned. His no was mercy in disguise. Every denied opportunity was a shield in angelic form. You did not fail. You were being filtered. And now, the doors that open will feel different. There will be peace instead of pressure, flow instead of force, confirmation instead of confusion. You will know it's divine because it won't drain you, it will grow you. Heaven's doors never require compromise, they require courage. So, when the next opportunity appears, don't question whether you're ready. You are every season of waiting, every lesson of endurance, every silent prayer whispered through tears has prepared you for this entrance. You are walking into divine fulfillment, not by coincidence, but by covenant. The doors that once refused, you will now welcome you. Not because they changed, but because you did. Heaven has refined you, stripped away what wasn't necessary, and now releases you into divine access. Chosen one. This is the moment to stand tall and breathe in the fulfillment of everything that once felt delayed. You didn't miss your season. Your season was being built around you. The house is finished. The key fits. The timing is now. And if this word resonates within you, if you can feel in your spirit that heaven is unlocking what once was closed, seal it with an act of agreement. Comment 888 below as a prophetic declaration. The number 8 represents new beginnings. And by typing it, you're saying, I receive my divine door. I step into my new beginning. Hein, let that act of faith echo through the heavens. For this time, the door will not close again. You are walking through what was once denied, not as a beggar seeking entry, but as an heir returning home. Chosen one. Every calling carries conflict. You have walked through storms, not because you were cursed, but because you were chosen. There was a battle over your timeline, one that you could not see, yet you felt its weight in your spirit. The resistance you faced was never random. It was proof that heaven had marked your life for something significant. The enemy has always tried to distort divine timing. From the beginning of creation, darkness has sought to rush or delay those destined to carry light. He tried to push Moses to act before the appointed time, to make David doubt his anointing, to silence Esther before she spoke. The battle over timing is a battle over destiny, because whoever controls your pace can influence your peace. There were moments when everything seemed to move against you, the delays, the confusion, the spiritual exhaustion. But you must know this, the opposition was never greater than the oil upon your life. You carry an anointing that unsettles darkness. That's why the enemy attacked your patience, your confidence, and your perception of progress. He wanted you to question whether you were really chosen, to make you abandon the journey before the door opened. But you didn't quit. You stood your ground. Even when you didn't understand the plan, heaven saw every battle you fought in silence, the unseen warfare, the nights you wrestled in prayer, the heaviness you couldn't explain. It was all the evidence of your spiritual significance. When darkness realized it couldn't destroy you, it tried to distract you. When it couldn't block your promise, it tried to distort your perspective of timing. But even then, God held your hand. You were never fighting alone. Picture a soldier in training. The weight of the armor feels unbearable at first. The drills, the repetition, the exhaustion, they seem endless. Yet, when the real battle comes, every moment of training makes sense. That's what your warfare has been training for triumph. Every attack taught you strategy. Every delay taught you endurance. Every disappointment fortified your discernment. You learned how to fight, not with panic, but with prayer. There were seasons when the enemy whispered that you had missed your moment. He tried to make you believe you were too late, too old, too weary, too wounded. But heaven laughs at the lies of darkness. You cannot miss what was predestined. The Lord does not measure readiness by age or circumstance. He measures it by surrender. And you have surrendered again and again. That is why heaven trusts you with more. Chosen one. Understand this truth. Your battle over timing was never about time. It was about trust. God needed to show you that you could walk through warfare and still believe, still wait, still hope. You were learning to fight, not for your promise, but from your promise. That shift changed everything. You stopped begging heaven for timing and started trusting heaven's rhythm. When you look back now, you can see the fingerprints of grace all over your story. You survived things that should have broken you. You stood in places where others fell. You prayed when your strength ran out. That is the mark of the chosen. You are not defined by what you went through. You are defined by what you overcame. In the unseen realm, angels moved on your behalf. Prayers you thought were unanswered were actually working in silence, building what you could not yet see. You were being protected from spiritual traps, from relationships meant to drain your energy, from opportunities that would have derailed your purpose. Heaven's protection often looks like delay, but it's actually strategy. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah. Chapter 54, verse 17. No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. Those words are not ancient history, they are living truth. Every weapon formed against you, whether seen or unseen, has already been rendered powerless. Every delay orchestrated by darkness has been overturned by divine decree. You are stepping into the clarity that confusion once tried to cloud. You have emerged stronger, wiser, sharper. You no longer fear waiting because you understand that timing belongs to God alone. You no longer panic in storms because you know peace is your portion. You no longer see opposition as punishment because you recognize it as proof. Chosen one. Stand firm. Heaven's warriors surround you. Every force that tried to rush or delay you has been silenced. The timeline of your destiny is now guarded by divine authority. You walk in peace because the battle over your timing has already been won. Chosen one. There comes a point in every divine journey when heaven reveals the secret of time itself, the difference between Chronos and Kairos. Chronos is the ticking of the clock, the hours, the days, the human measurement of passing moments. But Kairos, that sacred rhythm, is heaven's time, the appointed season where divine purpose and human readiness collide. You have lived long in Chronos, counting minutes and waiting for signs. But now you are stepping into Kairos, the realm where destiny manifests. You see, Chronos tests your patience, but Kairos rewards your perseverance. Chronos stretches your faith, but Kairos releases fulfillment. Everything you've endured until now, the waiting, the wondering, the weeping, has been preparation for your Kairos moment. Heaven did not forget you. It was synchronizing every thread of your life with its eternal design. There is a shift taking place within you. You no longer ask, "When will it happen?" but instead, "How will I walk when it does?" Because the time for questioning has ended, the time for manifestation begins. The spiritual clock has struck divine alignment. Heaven has moved from silence to summons. You are not waiting on the move of God. The move of God is waiting on your obedience. Chosen one. Think of a river held back by a dam. For years, it presses against the barrier, building pressure in silence. Then, at the appointed time, the floodgates open, and what was once restrained rushes forward with unstoppable power. That is what is happening in your spirit now. The seasons that felt stagnant were only storing strength. The power that once seemed delayed is about to flow freely. Your Kairos is not about what changes around you, it's about what has changed within you. The same mountains that once intimidated, you will now move at your command. The same waiting that once weakened you has now become your weapon. You have learned to trust the rhythm of heaven's heart. And because of that, you are now in sync with divine timing. Every great calling must cross the bridge between Chronos and Kairos. Abraham waited decades for the promise. Sarah laughed before she birthed. Joseph dreamed, then endured prisons before palaces. Even Jesus moved according to divine timing, saying, "My hour has not yet come." Heaven's pattern is patient but precise. It never rushes what it intends to reign forever. In your Chronos seasons, you measured progress by what you could see. You looked for results, signs, answers. But in your Kairos, you no longer need evidence. You are the evidence. You are the living proof that heaven's timing works. That delay is not denial, and that promises do not expire, they mature. This is the season when divine convergence takes place. People, places, and opportunities that once seemed distant begin to align effortlessly. Doors open without strain. Conversations confirm what heaven has already whispered. The wind shifts, and everything that once resisted you begins to assist you. This is not coincidence, it is Kairos. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 9, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." Those words carry weight. They remind you that all your striving could never produce what surrender now releases. You planned, but God perfected. You moved, but He established. Every step you took in faith, even the wrong ones, has been redirected toward divine purpose. Nothing was wasted. Not a tear, not a trial, not a delay. You are now walking not in circles, but in divine sequence. Every previous failure was a compass pointing you toward the correct path. Every detour was a disguised direction. Heaven never let you wander off course. It was teaching you rhythm, training your discernment to sense the pulse of divine order. And that is the beauty of Kairos. It is peace in motion. You are no longer anxious about missing moments because you understand that your moments can't miss you. The God who authored time himself is the one who now orchestrates your unfolding. You are safe in the rhythm of his sovereignty. Chosen one. Breathe deeply and step forward. You have not arrived early or late. You have arrived precisely on schedule. Heaven's hand has moved the clock. What once seemed far is now near. The promises that lingered are now living. You stand on holy ground. In the intersection of destiny and divine order, walk gently but confidently. For every second from this point carries divine weight. This is your Kairos. The time you feared was passing you by has bowed before you. From this moment on, you live not by the ticking of the clock, but by the heartbeat of eternity. Chosen one. Something is stirring deep within you now, an awakening that words can barely capture. It is the stirring of your mantle, the invisible cloak of divine authority that has rested upon you since before you were born. You have felt it in moments of divine tension, in seasons where you could not explain why you were burdened for things others ignored. That is because your spirit carries assignment weight that only the chosen can bear. The mantle does not arrive suddenly. It awakens slowly. It stretches you, calls you, pulls you out of comfort and into commission. It is not glamorous, it is sacred. When heaven entrusts a mantle, it also entrusts responsibility. You are not simply blessed, you are burdened for purpose. And this burden is holy. For years, you wondered why your heart broke so easily for others. Why injustice cut so deeply. Why silence felt unbearable. It was never sensitivity, it was divine empathy. The mantle inside you has always responded to heaven's cry for the earth. The reason you couldn't fit in is because you were built to stand out. You were never called to blend with the crowd. You were born to lead it toward light. Chosen one. Do not fear the awakening. The shaking you feel is heaven's way of aligning your spirit with its next assignment. When mantles awaken, environments begin to shift. People may leave. Paths may change. Old passions may fade. But all of it is preparation for elevation. What feels like loss is often the clearing of space for glory. You may not see it yet, but heaven is positioning you strategically. The relationships you are drawn to now, the thoughts stirring in your heart, the sudden restlessness, all of it is divine orchestration. Heaven is saying, it's time to step into who you truly are. No, think of Elijah and Elisha. The moment Elijah's mantle fell, Elisha's identity transformed. One garment changed his entire direction. He could no longer return to what was familiar because destiny had already called his name. You, too, have reached that moment. The mantle resting upon you demands motion. You cannot remain where comfort lives. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 6. For this reason, I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God, which is in you through the laying on of my hands. Those words echo now through your soul. Fan into flame. Your gift is not dead, it is dormant. The waiting season has kept the fire hidden under ashes of fatigue and doubt. But heaven is blowing upon those embers now. Your calling is reigniting. There will be signs subtle at first. Dreams that carry divine clarity. Conversations that confirm what your spirit already knows. Situations that demand your authority, forcing you to step up and speak truth. You will begin to realize that what once intimidated you now responds to your voice. You will no longer pray timidly. You will declare boldly. You will no longer hope quietly. You will move confidently. But remember this, a mantle is not meant to make you famous. It's meant to make you faithful. The world celebrates gifting, but heaven celebrates stewardship. To carry your mantle is to carry responsibility, to act with integrity even when no one watches, to love deeply even when unreturned, to obey even when misunderstood. Your mantle will draw attention, yes, but it will also draw opposition. That is why heaven trained you through fire before releasing you through favor. The resistance you've faced was preparing you for the weight of divine visibility. You cannot carry light without attracting darkness, but now you know how to stand firm. Chosen one. As your mantle awakens, so will your influence. Your words will begin to carry weight. Your presence will shift atmospheres. You will no longer merely believe, you will embody. The world is waiting for what heaven placed in you, and the hour of revealing is near. Now pause for a moment. Take a breath. If your heart feels that subtle tremor, that mix of awe and urgency, it's because your spirit recognizes the call. This is not emotion, it's confirmation. The mantle is stirring, and heaven is watching for your response. Type "I rise" below, not as a comment, but as a covenant. Let those two words become a seal between you and heaven. When you type them, you're declaring, I will no longer shrink from my calling. I accept the mantle. I step into purpose. The world may not understand it, but heaven will. It will be your written agreement that you choose obedience over fear. Chosen one. You are stepping into a new dimension of authority. The mantle is no longer sleeping. It's alive, vibrant, and ready. You will walk with clarity, speak with power, and move with grace. The years of silence are over. The fire is lit again. Heaven has chosen this moment for your awakening, and nothing, absolutely nothing can stop what has already been ordained. Chosen one. There is something profoundly beautiful about crowns forged in silence. You see, a crown is not made in moments of applause, but in seasons of pressure. Gold is refined in fire before it shines on the head of a ruler. In the same way, your patience, your tears, your endurance, all of it has been shaping your invisible crown. You are being crowned in the waiting. The world teaches that value comes from visibility, but heaven works differently. Heaven crowns the faithful, not the famous. You were never overlooked, you were observed. The King of Heaven watched you remain faithful when it was easier to walk away. He saw you worship when you didn't understand, forgive when you were wounded, hope when you were weary. Each of those choices placed another jewel into your crown. Imagine a master sculptor chiseling away at a rough block of marble. Every strike of the hammer seems harsh, but each hit is purposeful. The sculptor sees what others cannot, the beauty within the stone. That is what heaven has been doing with you. The chiseling, the delay, the breaking, it was never to destroy, but to reveal. The waiting has not been wasted. It has been the sacred shaping of your royalty. Chosen one, your crown is not a decoration, it's a declaration. It says, "He endured. I remained. He trusted." Crowns in heaven are not given for speed, but for steadfastness. You didn't rush the process. You respected it. That's why your reign will not be fragile. You have been built by fire, and fire cannot destroy what it has already refined. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 65, Verse 11. You crown the year with your bounty, and your carts overflow with abundance. Those words speak to you now. The year that once felt barren is about to overflow. The same days you thought were wasted will soon bear fruit you did not plant. Heaven crowns your seasons, not because you performed perfectly, but because you persevered faithfully. The harvest you are walking into will not look like payback, it will look like grace. Look back at your journey and notice something holy. Every delay carried direction. Every heartbreak birthed humility. Every loss uncovered loyalty. You have been in a divine classroom, learning lessons that kings and queens must master before they rule. Patience was your tutor. Time was your mentor. The unseen years were your apprenticeship in wisdom. Now, the moment arrives when the invisible becomes visible. You are not being promoted because of popularity, but because of preparation. The spiritual authority that heaven placed within you will now begin to manifest externally. The waiting room becomes your throne room. The crown is placed, not with ceremony, but with peace. And as this truth unfolds within you, I want to speak sincerely, not as an instruction, but as an invitation. If this message resonates with your spirit, if something in your soul whispers, "This is my time," then don't just listen, let gratitude breathe through you. Share this light the way a candle shares its flame. It doesn't lose its fire, it multiplies it. When you like, when you share, when you subscribe, it is not about the platform, it's about participation in purpose. You are helping heaven's message find another weary soul, another chosen one, still doubting their crown. Perhaps someone scrolling in silence tonight needs to hear that their waiting still carries worth. Your simple act of sharing may be the spark that reignites their hope. Think of it this way: every ripple begins with one drop. When you spread what has touched your heart, the ripple of faith expands farther than you can imagine. It touches homes, hearts, and lives you will never meet, but heaven will record it as impact. You are not just a listener, you are a carrier of light. So as this word settles into your spirit, know that your crown is real, even if unseen. It glows not with gold, but with grace. It shines not because of your strength, but because of His faithfulness. You are stepping into your season of divine recognition. The same God who crowned David in obscurity now crowns you in clarity. Chosen one, lift your head. You have carried the weight. Now you will carry the crown. Every day ahead will testify that patience was never punishment, it was preparation for glory. Heaven has called your name, and the King himself has said, "It is time." Now, and as this truth lingers in your spirit, remember, you are not just being crowned for yourself, but for the generations your obedience will touch. Carry it humbly, wear it boldly, and let your light remind the world that waiting is never wasted when it is wrapped in faith. Chosen one, there is a holy mystery in how heaven restores what was lost. The world calls it recovery, but in divine language. It is redemption. You have walked through seasons that felt stripped, dreams fading, opportunities slipping, relationships ending. You wondered how the pieces could ever fit again, how the fragments could still form beauty. Yet what you did not see was that heaven never discards what it intends to restore. Every perceived loss was a seed. It fell from your hands, buried beneath the soil of time. And while you grieved over its burial, heaven was orchestrating resurrection. Nothing in your journey has been wasted. Not one tear, not one prayer, not one act of faith went unnoticed. You may have felt like you were starting over, but in truth, you were being rebuilt stronger, wiser, deeper. Restoration is not the return of what was, but the renewal of what can be. God never simply gives back what was taken, He multiplies it. The prophet Joel once spoke of this divine exchange, where the years that the locusts had eaten would be restored, not merely replaced. You have reached that point of reversal, where what was emptied will overflow again, and what was barren will bear fruit beyond imagination. Think of a field scorched by drought. The ground looks dead, cracked, incapable of new life. But beneath that surface, dormant roots wait for the right rain. The moment water touches the earth, life bursts forth with a strength unseen before. That is what is happening in you now. The rains of restoration have begun to fall. Every area that felt forgotten is awakening again. You see, restoration always follows revelation. Once you realize that nothing in God's hands is ever lost, your perspective shifts. You stop mourning what was and start expecting what's next. The enemy wanted you to believe that too much time had passed, that your best seasons were behind you. But heaven says otherwise. What felt like the end was merely the end of striving. The beginning of grace now unfolds. Chosen one. This is the part of your story where divine reversals occur. The very areas that carried shame will soon carry testimony. The places where you were rejected will become the places of your greatest favor. Every no that wounded you is being rewritten as a now. The script of your life has not been cancelled. It's being completed. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Emson, those words are your anchor in this moment. You do not have to fight to retrieve what was lost. Heaven is already fighting for you. You do not have to chase restoration. Restoration is chasing you. The same God who parted the sea for Moses is parting the barriers before you now. The tide that once seemed against you is turning in your favor. In divina arithmetic, subtraction always precedes multiplication. What was taken was never theft, it was pruning. The branches that were cut back are already preparing for greater fruit. The people who walked away made space for those assigned to stay. The doors that closed created room for the ones designed for your destiny. You are not being reduced, you are being refined. You may not realize it yet, but even the timing of your pain was prophetic. The losses came not to define you, but to align you. Heaven allowed certain things to fall apart so that what remains would never fall again. You are being rebuilt on rock, not sand. You are standing in the threshold of renewal, where what once hurt now heals, and what once broke now blesses. Chosen one. Restoration is already in motion. It may not appear overnight, but it will appear on time. The same God who formed galaxies without rush is forming your future with precision. Every delay you endured has been counted. And now every day ahead will carry double portion. The peace that once eluded you will return in waves. The joy you thought you lost will bloom like dawn after endless night. So lift your eyes, not backward toward what has been, but forward toward what is becoming. The season of scarcity has ended. You are stepping into abundance, not just of provision, but of purpose. Heaven is restoring your rhythm, your confidence, your voice. And when you look again at the pieces of your life, you will see that none were wasted. They simply belong to a different design. Chosen one, take heart. The God who restores does not restore partially, he restores perfectly. You will not just recover what was lost, you will recognize that even loss was part of the gift. This is the hour of divine reversal. And your story is proof that nothing surrendered to heaven ever truly disappears. It transforms. Chosen one, you have reached the moment when alignment becomes visible. For years, heaven was arranging threads behind the veil, people, places, opportunities, each detail orchestrated with divine precision. What once felt random now reveals its rhythm. Every meeting, every closed path, every unexpected turn was a stitch in the divine tapestry of your purpose. You could not see the pattern then because you were standing too close to the fabric. But now, heaven steps you back to show you the picture, and it is glorious. You are walking into divine appointment, not coincidence. This is the hour when everything begins to make sense, when connections form effortlessly and timing flows without force. The people you meet now will not be by chance, they will be destiny links, carrying keys to your next door. The places you step into will feel familiar because your spirit has already been there in prayer. The words you speak will begin to carry unusual weight because you are now aligned with heaven's voice. It may feel sudden, but this is what divine order looks like, sudden only to the natural eye, perfectly timed in the supernatural. The appointments that are manifesting now were written long before your confusion ever began. Heaven is not improvising, heaven is revealing. What seemed delayed is now being delivered in sequence. Chosen one. This alignment is sacred. You are not moving toward purpose, you are moving within it. You have become one with your calling, no longer separated by fear or doubt. The gap between who you are and who you were called to be is closing. You are no longer chasing destiny, you are walking in it. This is the power of divine appointment. You find yourself in the right place, at the right time, with the right heart. You don't need to strive or strategize. You simply show up and heaven does the rest. When divine timing meets divine readiness, manifestation becomes effortless. It was proclaimed in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. That verse is not just comfort, it is confirmation. Even the moments that hurt, the choices you regretted, the losses that left you hollow, all were woven into the design of your destiny. What you thought was a setback was simply a shift, positioning you closer to where you were meant to be. There are divine encounters waiting for you now. People whose names you've never heard will suddenly speak your name in rooms you've never entered. Opportunities you didn't chase will begin to find you. Heaven will cause others to remember you at the exact moment your preparation meets its platform. This is not luck, this is appointment. Chosen one. Be sensitive in this season. Small nudges will carry big meaning. The sudden desire to visit a place, call a person, or take a step you've hesitated on. These are not random impulses. They are divine signals. Heaven communicates in whispers before it thunders. The Spirit is leading you subtly, and your obedience will activate acceleration. When you walk in alignment, even delays serve your direction. The places you thought you missed out on will turn out to be detours that saved your peace. You will begin to see the fingerprints of God on every chapter, His protection in rejection, His grace in grief, His wisdom in waiting. Chosen one. Pause for a moment and let this truth settle deep in your spirit. You are exactly where you need to be. You did not miss your moment. You met your Maker in it. The divine clock never failed you. It was simply counting down to this unveiling. Now, to seal this revelation as your own, I invite you to respond prophetically. Comment 4,444 below. The number 4 is the number of divine order and completion. By typing it, you are declaring, I am aligned. I am in divina order. I walk in heaven's rhythm. All this is not superstition. It is symbolism, an act of faith echoing into eternity. Each number typed is a declaration that your chaos is finding order. Your confusion is giving way to clarity. Your timing is aligning with truth. You are no longer walking by chance. You are walking by covenant. Chosen one. Heaven is smiling upon your surrender. The orchestration is flawless. The alignment is complete. And every step ahead has already been prepared for your arrival. You are moving not into the unknown, but into the unveiled. This is your prophetic appointment, timed, tested, and now triumphantly revealed. Chosen one. When heaven begins to move you forward, the transition is rarely quiet. You will feel it as a stirring deep within your spirit, a pull that calls you out of what has become familiar and into what has been promised. It is not always comfortable, but it is always divine. You may sense it as restlessness, as the subtle awareness that something greater is waiting just beyond your current horizon. That unease is not confusion. It is calling. For too long, you have walked faithfully in preparation, thinking you were still waiting for God to act. But heaven has been waiting for you to step, to speak, to move. There comes a moment in every chosen one's life when stillness turns to strategy, when patience transforms into purpose. You are standing in that moment now. The instruction is clear. Move forward. This movement is not reckless, it is revelation. The path may not yet be visible, but the command is undeniable. You will not have all the details, but you will have the direction. Heaven rarely gives maps, it gives movement. Every step you take in faith reveals the next. Just as light illuminates 1 foot ahead at a time, consider how the Israelites stood before the Red Sea, hemmed in by water and chased by an army. Fear whispered that there was no way forward. Yet the command from heaven was not to retreat, but to go forward. Only when they obeyed did the sea split. You too stand before your own sea of impossibility. You will not see it part until you move. The miracle always follows motion. Chosen one. You cannot bring yesterday's caution into tomorrow's calling. The path before you demands courage. It is time to release the safety nets of the past, the familiar fears, the comfortable limitations, the self-doubt disguised as wisdom. You have learned enough, waited enough, prayed enough, Now it is time to walk. Heaven cannot steer what refuses to move. This forward motion will require trust at a depth you have not yet known. You will be asked to step where you cannot see ground, to speak when you feel unqualified, to love where you once withdrew. These are not tests, they are transformations. The same God who called you out will carry you through. The ancient words recorded in Romans, chapter 8, verse 31, still echo today. If God is for us, who can be against us? That truth is your shield as you move. You are not advancing alone. You are escorted by divine favor. The obstacles that once intimidated you are already bowing to the authority within you. Every resistance was merely rehearsal for this moment. Heaven has gone before you, clearing paths you didn't even know were blocked. You must understand, beloved, that moving forward doesn't always look like progress to others. Sometimes it looks like leaving comfort zones, ending patterns, or walking away from noise. Sometimes obedience looks like loss before it looks like victory. But forward is forward, even when it feels lonely. The direction matters more than the distance. The grace upon your life in this season is acceleration. The same roads that once felt slow will now become swift. What once required years will take months, and what once took months will unfold in moments. Divine acceleration does not skip process, it redeems time. You are walking into redeemed time, the restoration of every moment you thought was wasted. Still, remember this: acceleration is not rushing. Heaven's speed moves in peace, not panics. When you sense urgency, respond with obedience, not anxiety. The difference between haste and Holy Spirit prompting is peace. When heaven says, move, the ground beneath you becomes steady. When the flesh says, hurry, the path crumbles beneath pressure. Learn to discern the voice that guides your pace. Chosen one. The step before you may feel heavy, but it is holy. You are stepping out of cycles and into seasons. You are no longer circling the same mountain of uncertainty, you are ascending it. And when you reach its summit, you will see what all the wandering was for. The view from obedience reveals everything the valley concealed. Do not fear mistakes, for heaven is big enough to redirect every misstep. The only failure in this season is refusing to move. You are an arrow drawn back, not for restraint, but for release. The tension you feel is the force that will propel you farther than you've ever gone. Chosen one. Move forward with courage. Move forward with conviction. The time of waiting has fulfilled its purpose. The time of walking has come. You are the movement heaven has been preparing. Step and watch the impossible make way for you. Chosen one. As you walk further into your calling, you will notice that time itself begins to feel different. The clocks of the world still tick the same, but something in your spirit no longer bows to their pace. You are entering a dimension where human deadlines lose power, where the constraints of ordinary time cannot contain divine destiny. Heaven is teaching you how to move in eternal rhythm. This is the moment when limiting clocks begin to break. Every label that said, "It's too late," every whisper that said, "You missed your chance," shatters under the authority of divine timing. For you, time does not dictate possibility, purpose does. When God appoints a moment, no delay, no detour, no decision can derail it. The God who created time also moves outside of it. And as his chosen, You now walk in that same supernatural freedom. Think of Abraham and Sarah. The world said their season for promise had expired, but heaven said, "Watch." Their bodies were beyond the years of fertility. Yet the covenant could not be cancelled by biology. Divine timing ignored natural aging. What seemed impossible became inevitable because heaven had already decreed it. The same grace rests upon you now. What appears out of reach is not too late. It is right on time. When you walk with God, age, opportunity, and circumstance bow to His will. What the world calls delayed is simply developing. The timing of heaven is not measured in minutes, but in maturity. God was never trying to make the world ready for you. He was making you ready for the world. And now, as the limitations break, you begin to understand that time was never your enemy. It was your guardian, keeping you aligned until revelation could be received. Chosen one. Do not measure yourself by the pace of others. Some are called to bloom early, others are destined to bloom late, but all bloom in perfect order. You have been hidden until the season when your fruit could bless, not burden. If your journey seems slower, it is because your assignment carries greater weight. Heavy crowns require steady growth. The prophet Daniel lived this truth. He prayed for understanding, and heaven responded. Yet the answer was delayed by spiritual resistance. But once the appointed time arrived, the messenger broke through. That is your story as well. Delayed does not mean denied. The breakthrough was never cancelled. It was merely contested. Now, as you step into divine rhythm, the barriers that once slowed, you begin to crumble. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. And that verse is not simply poetic, it is prophetic. It declares that every purpose has its time, and every time carries its purpose. Nothing in your life has been random. Even the waiting had meaning. Even the detours had direction. The moments that felt wasted were the very moments God used to prepare the stage for what comes next. Breaking free from limiting clocks also means releasing the shame of comparison. You were never meant to live according to another's schedule. The flower that blooms in spring is not jealous of the one that blossoms in autumn. Both were planted by the same Creator. Both serve a different purpose, and both are beautiful in their appointed time. Chosen one. Let go of the pressure to prove that you are on track. The only track that matters is the one heaven has carved beneath your feet. You are not late, you are aligned. When the time is divine, things happen without striving. What once felt forced now flows. The opportunities you chased will begin to chase you. Not because you changed strategy, but because you learned to rest in divine order. You are now walking beyond the illusion of human timelines. You no longer ask, when will it happen? Because you understand it is already happening. Heaven's clock does not count down, it unfolds. Each moment you breathe is another step into fulfillment. Even creation obeys this rhythm. The sun never rushes the dawn, yet light always arrives. The moon never hurries its rise, yet it illuminates the night at the exact hour it is needed. You, too, are part of that harmony. You are no longer subject to the tyranny of time. You are synchronized with the composer of eternity. Chosen one. You will know that you are free from the old clocks when you stop fearing missed opportunities. You will feel peace where pressure once lived. You will sense flow instead of frustration. And in that peace, miracles multiply. Walk in this awareness. Every tick of time now works for you. Every passing day carries purpose. The world may chase deadlines, but you dwell in divine design. The clocks of limitation are shattered. The rhythm of eternity has taken their place. You move no longer by time, but by truth. And truth always arrives, exactly on schedule. Chosen one. There is something sacred about this moment. You have reached the place. Heaven always knew you would. The path that once felt endless now curves into clarity. The storms that once roared against you have become the wind that lifts you higher. Every tear, every prayer, every hour of wandering has shaped the vessel that now stands ready. You were never behind. You were always being aligned. And now, heaven whispers, you have arrived. Oh, the beauty of divine timing is that it always feels sudden, but has been in motion for years. Like the slow unfurling of a flower hidden in bud. You didn't see the growth happening in the dark. But now the bloom has come. You are not merely entering destiny, you are embodying it. You have become the living evidence that divine promises do not expire, only mature. The story of your life is not one of delay, but of design. Each setback carved character, each silence deepened strength. You are not the same soul that began this journey. You are wiser, steadier, and more radiant. Heaven has not just delivered you to your moment, it has delivered your moment to you. Chosen one, look around and see how things have shifted. You used to chase understanding, but now peace finds you first. You used to beg for doors to open, but now doors open because you walk by. You used to question whether you were enough, but now you know you were chosen not because of perfection, but because of purpose. It was spoken in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 16. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last. That verse is your crown. You were chosen before you even believed in yourself. You were appointed not for fleeting success, but for fruit that endures, impact that stretches beyond time. The seeds you have planted in faith, through prayer, through perseverance, through obedience, will bear fruit that will outlive you. You are not just living a story, you are leaving a legacy. Chosen one, your arrival was foretold. Heaven knew the exact moment the world would need your voice, your presence, your light. You are not here by accident. You are heaven's response to a need on earth. And now that you are walking in this awareness, your life becomes a beacon for others still trapped in delay, still doubting that their time will come. If this message stirs something deep in your soul, let it move beyond emotion. Let it become action. Like a lighthouse casting its beam across dark waters, you have the power to guide others home simply by sharing the light that reached you. When you like, share, or comment, it is not about vanity, it is about visibility. You help the message of purpose find another heart still wandering in the dark. There is someone right now who needs to hear that they have not missed their destiny. There is someone who needs to be reminded that their waiting is not wasted. You could be the bridge heaven uses to reach them. That's what this is about. Ripples of redemption moving through every small act of faith. If you feel led, share this message as an act of gratitude. When you pass light forward, you multiply it. You never know whose midnight you might illuminate. Maybe someone scrolling through the noise will stop and read. And for the first time in months, they'll exhale, realizing they are not late, they are right on time. Comment below with a few words of reflection. What part of your journey resonates with this truth? What revelation has opened your eyes today? Your story might be the encouragement someone else needs to take their next step. And if this message has met you where you are, consider subscribing, not for numbers, but for nourishment. Every message that follows is another whisper from heaven, reminding you of who you are becoming. Chosen one. Know this: you are not just a listener, you are a living testimony. You carry the fragrance of fulfillment everywhere you go. Time will seem to bend in your favor, not because you rush, but because you rest in divine rhythm. The same hand that held you in the delay now ushers you into destiny. You are the proof that heaven's timing never fails. Every second you thought was lost has now become sacred. Every year you called wasted is now redeemed. You stand crowned, not just with purpose, but with peace, the peace of one who finally understands that everything truly happened right on time. Chosen one. Now that you have stepped into alignment, life begins to flow in a rhythm you no longer have to force. You wake and sense it, the quiet ease of divine synchronization. The worry that once ruled your mornings has been replaced with awareness. You no longer feel the frantic need to control outcomes because you finally trust the composer who writes your days. This is what it means to walk in divine rhythm. Divine rhythm is not perfection, it is peace. It is knowing that even when things seem uncertain, you are still moving in step with something far greater than yourself. You have stopped striving to make life happen and started allowing life to happen through you. Heaven's melody now plays beneath your actions, and your spirit sways to its sound. There is a holy flow that guides your pace. When it is time to move, you feel the gentle nudge of grace. When it is time to pause, you sense the whisper of stillness. You no longer resist either, because you have learned that both are sacred. The rhythm of God includes both motion and rest, both speaking and silence. The same Spirit that sends you into battle also calls you beside still waters. This rhythm will confuse those who live by worldly pace. They will look at your calm and call it carelessness. They will see your patience and call it passivity. But you know the truth. Peace is not idleness, it is insight. You walk slower because you are listening deeper. You speak softer because you are hearing clearer. You are no longer led by the rush of urgency, but by the river of understanding. Chosen one. Divine rhythm means that heaven and earth now move together in you. You are becoming a bridge between both realms. Your steps echo on earth, but they are directed by eternity. When you act, it is not reaction, it is revelation. You sense when to sow and when to reap, when to speak and when to stay silent, when to build and when to wait. This is not guesswork, it is guidance. Think of a symphony. Every instrument has its time to play, its moment to pause. When one section grows silent, another begins, and the harmony continues. The beauty lies not in constant sound, but in coordinated sequence. So it is with your life. Heaven is the conductor, and your obedience is the melody. Every chapter, every decision, every delay is a note in the grand composition of your destiny. There will be moments when the rhythm feels quiet, almost absent. In those moments, remember, the composer has not left. He is simply allowing silence to shape anticipation. The pause between notes is what gives the song its depth. Without it, music would be noise. The stillness you feel is part of the sound. The prophet David understood this mystery. He wrote of it in the Psalms, chapter 37, verse 7. Be still before the Lord, and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways. Those words hold timeless wisdom. To be still is not to stop. It is to synchronize. It is to trust that while others rush, heaven's pace will always prevail. You have been trained in this stillness, refined by it. And now it is your greatest strength. When you walk in divine rhythm, even chaos begins to harmonize. What once felt random now reveals pattern. The storms that once terrified you now teach you tempo. You can sense when a season is closing, not because of signs, but because of song. The frequency of heaven changes, and your spirit adjusts. This is spiritual maturity. To move when heaven moves, and to rest when heaven rests. Chosen one. This is where authority grows quietly. You no longer need to force outcomes. Your very presence carries atmosphere. When you step into a room, peace follows, because you are tuned to heaven's heartbeat. People may not understand it, but they will feel it, the steadiness, the serenity, the sacred rhythm pulsing through you. This rhythm will protect you from burnout, confusion, and fear. It will teach you how to respond, not react, how to create, not copy. You will no longer chase seasons, you will cultivate them. You will no longer fight for timing, you will flow with it. And as you continue to walk this path, you will begin to realize that divine rhythm is not something you enter once, it is something you become. You are the living rhythm of God on earth, the embodiment of balance between patience and power. So walk lightly, chosen one, but walk with certainty. Every step you take is music written in motion. Every breath you draw is harmony between heaven and earth. You no longer march to human rhythm, you move to eternity's song. Chosen one. The journey that began with questions now ends with clarity. You stand in the fullness of the appointed hour, no longer striving to arrive, but realizing that you already have. Every delay, every detour, every difficult season was not an obstacle, it was orientation. You were being guided here, step by sacred step, until time itself aligned with your readiness. This is your arrival at the appointed hour. You have become the living fulfillment of the promises once whispered in the dark. The prayers you thought were unanswered have taken form around you. The visions you once carried quietly in your heart are now unfolding with grace and precision. You have not stumbled into destiny, you have grown into it. Heaven did not rush you, because eternity never hurries what it loves. Now, standing in this moment, you understand what you could not before. You were never waiting for things to happen, things were waiting for you to become. Every delay was heaven's way of allowing transformation to reach its perfect measure within you. You had to be shaped, stretched, refined until your character could carry what your calling demanded. The waiting was the workshop of wisdom, and now the doors of purpose swing open effortlessly. Chosen one. Look around you, not with natural eyes, but with spiritual sight. You are surrounded by evidence of divine faithfulness. The very areas where you once cried for breakthrough have become testimonies of restoration. The people who misunderstood your process now witness your peace. The moments you thought were wasted have blossomed into revelation. You carry no bitterness from the past because you finally see that nothing was lost, everything was sown. This is the power of divine timing. It redeems not only moments but meaning. What once felt random now feels woven. You can trace the golden thread of grace through every chapter. The heartbreaks, the pauses, the long nights of prayer, all of them connected, all of them necessary. There is no regret in divine design, only realization. It was written in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8. I have set before you an open door that no one can shut. I know that you have little strength, yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. Those words now belong to you. The open door stands before you, not one you forced, but one that was forged through faith. You did not earn it through striving. You received it through steadfastness. Heaven saw the moments when your strength ran out, but your obedience did not. That is what unlocked the door. Chosen one. Entering this hour is not about triumph, it is about trust. You walk differently now. You no longer grasp at control, you flow with confidence. You no longer ask, why did it take so long? Because you now know time itself was your teacher. Every lesson, every waiting, every quiet correction was heaven's way of ensuring that you would not just arrive. But endure. And now, the endurance has become inheritance. You carry something within you that cannot be taken, a peace that remains even in storms, a clarity that cuts through confusion, a confidence that no longer depends on applause. You are not the same soul who began this journey. You have been transformed into testimony. From this moment forward, you will move differently. The pace of your life will not be dictated by pressure, but by purpose. You will recognize opportunities not by how attractive they appear, but by how aligned they feel. You will no longer measure success by speed, but by surrender. You are walking in rhythm with eternity, and everything that unfolds from here will do so with effortless grace. Chosen one. Pause and honor what has taken place within you. This is not just a new chapter, it is a new cadence. You have become one with heaven's timing, and that is the true victory. You now understand that being chosen was never about privilege, it was about purpose. The divine hand that delayed you has now delivered you, not into chaos, but into calling. Your story will continue to unfold, not as a race, but as a revelation. You are not chasing destiny, you are carrying it. You no longer fear time, because time now works for you. The waiting has ended. The becoming is complete. You have arrived exactly when and where you were meant to. Stand tall in this truth. You were never late. Heaven was never early. The clock of your destiny has struck the appointed hour, and the sound it makes is peace. And so, beloved chosen one, the story closes where it began, with timing. What began as frustration has become fulfillment. What once felt like silence now resounds with song. You understand now that delay is not denial, that purpose has its own pace, and that heaven never misses an appointment. Look at how far you've come from hiddenness to revelation, from confusion to clarity, from waiting to walking. You have learned that your life is not governed by chance, but by choice, the divine choice that called you, shaped you, and carried you through every shadow. You are not the sum of your delays. You are the testimony of divine design. The world around you still rushes, still measures worth by speed and success. But you now live differently. You move by peace, not pressure. You build by grace, not grind. You understand that every breath is timed by love, and every step echoes eternity. When doubts whisper again, and they will remember this truth, time serves you now. It no longer imprisons you, it propels you. You are free from the fear of missing out, because what is yours cannot be lost. You are aligned with the one who writes seasons, and as long as you walk with him, you will always arrive right on time. Chosen one. Your journey continues. But from here, you travel with ease. Destiny no longer feels distant. It beats within your chest. You have become the fulfillment of every promise you once prayed for. Heaven smiles. Earth watches. And time bows. You were never late. You arrived exactly on time.